So last class we have started with introduction to VR. So we have discussed different technologies, different types of reality, 4 different types of reality we have discussed during last 2 classes. One is an augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, and the extended reality. So with some videos and some examples, I have showed you how these technologies are working, and also we have discussed on applications related to reality technologies and what are all the challenges that we are facing when we are using this reality technology also we have discussed. Now coming to the introduction of one virtual reality, our 4 unit discusses about VR and the last unit is related to AR and some content in MR. It is there in your last unit. So we will be moving on to the introduction to VR. Last class we have started the introduction to VR. So the definition has been given to you. When you talk about an virtual reality, it's a computer simulation that creates an image of a world that appears to your sense in such a way that we can preserve the reality, or you can say a physical reality. So the definition talks about we are going to use a computer for simulating some real world object. Please mute yourself. If you have any doubt, you can unmute it. And as we come talks about an virtual reality, there are 3 different types of realities we have. Either it can be a fully immersive virtual reality, non-immersive and semi-immersive reality. I will be showing some examples and the explanation related to these kinds of VR. When it comes to an full immersive reality techniques, I have showed you a last class about an headset. So the headset, when you wear a headset, you will be fully into that world. You cannot interpret the outside world, what it is going on. So it's fully immersive technology. In the case of fully immersive technology, it mainly uses an head mounted display devices, or it uses an VR glasses. Mainly this will be applicable in many applications such as gaming and entertainment applications. And when it comes to some of the examples for immersive, fully immersive virtual reality is given here. And this is, I think I have showed a video of this image also in the first class, I guess. As I told you, it is used in the military applications. So there you can use the fully immersive technology. When it comes to a non-immersive technology, so as you have played the video games and all, in that it is it uses a computer generated environment, but you are not in the virtual reality world, but you can use the controllers and you can able to play the game, but you will be aware of what is happening around the world, real world. The best example is an video game is an best example. It doesn't uses an any immersive technology. You will have an you can interact with the real world. You can have a everything you can see, but when you goes to fully immersive technology, you are not aware of what is happening outside the outside world. Some of the examples are specified here. When it comes to one semi-immersive technology, it uses both the technology, that is the physical environment, and also it uses a virtual environment. Partially it uses a virtual environment. So you might feel the games, you can play the games and all. In such cases, you can able to feel how it is working, but you are not fully immersed into that game. You can able to view the real world also. So you have a controllers, you can control based on that, it will give you the display on the screen. It's an partial virtual environment you will be able to do. So these are all the three different kinds of virtual reality techniques. Either it can be fully immersive, non-immersive, or semi-immersive. Coming to this part, I think class we have started with this explanation. How do we preserve the reality? As a human being, how we are preserving the reality? So by the sense we can able to see the reality. All the sense organs will be useful for this. Two basic operations or the process which is involved when you are preserving a reality. One is sensation and perception. In the case of sensation, it gathers the information whatever you are sensing, and the case of perception, it is interpreting the information. So first gathering the information, based on that it will interpret, and it is trying to act based on that. So based on these two concepts, how the machine is going to react for the given inputs. So you can see actual reality and the virtual reality. When it comes to an actual reality, what the human, as a human we are feeling, that is your actual reality. And it comes to an virtual reality, we uses a machine to simulate. As the definition of virtual reality says, it's a computer simulation or computer generated screen display to the human beings. So you required some devices for this. Now coming to a reality concept, how the reality is working. In the case of reality, you will first sense, based on the sense the action will be taken place. But when it comes to a virtual reality, you should have some devices, as we are talking from the first class. Either it can be an it should be an input and an output devices. So based on the combinations of these devices, you can able to see the virtual reality. So first the input devices will capture some input, and it is trying to generate some outputs to the person who is viewing. So you need some input and the output devices. So these two input and output devices are kept in between the human perception and the action. As we discussed two concepts, perception and sensation, it is kept in between these two things. Based on this input and output devices responses, we are trying to generate the virtual reality. So I will be discussing steps involved in the virtual reality later. So this diagram will explain you how the visual simulation is done. You can see here, it's a human. As I told you, it's an interface between VR is an some machine interface. It is going to simulate something to you so that you can feel it. You have a machine here, and the simulation systems are kept here, and the human is watching the virtual reality virtual realities or any application he can watch. It requires, when it comes to one machine, it requires some devices. The devices can be some devices we have discussed earlier, headsets and all, VR headsets and all. Those devices are required for performing the corresponding simulation. And according to the devices, it will be mapped with the human. So human machine interface, these are all the senses the human can have, or sense organs the human can uses, and the machine corresponding machine components or devices are displayed here. If you want to hear some audio, then it requires, when it comes to one machine, it requires some kind of headphones and all. And when it comes to an vision, if you want to view something, it uses an 3D glasses and all. Likewise, it is going to have some interface or devices which is going to connect with the human and the machine. And when it comes to one device, the device should have a drives so that it can be finally simulated into one final object. So each and every device has its own drivers. So with the help of those drivers, you can able to simulate it. So this drivers will help you to get the sound, vision, or physical simulations or speech recognition, all those things. Finally, it will be simulated into one final object. So this is the content that how the uh, human and the machine is interfacing. So let us see the example also. Now you wanted to see some sceneries or something, you are going to see how it is going to do that. Visual simulation we are going to use, so vision component we are going to use visual simulations, how it is going to be simulated. For simulating this, you need to make a 3D graphics. So with the help of a 3D graphics, you can generate the scenes. Once the scenes are generated, when you wear the headset, head mounted devices, and that will be mapped with an vision system of the brain, so that a person whoever is wearing the corresponding headset can view whatever the 3D object which is displayed. With the help of this human machine interface, you can able to see the output or whatever it is displaying, you can able to see. So the graphics to HDD, it maps the output to the device, and finally it is used for seeing the whatever it is displayed there. So I hope this diagram and this diagram will help you to understand what is an virtual reality, how it is going to be used. So in our courses, we are going to discuss all these devices. And this is related to augmented reality only, and also it uses some mixed reality. For just for introductory purpose, I have introduced this slide here. There is a concept called Milgram's reality and virtuality quantum. So when this Milgram, he is a person who coined this, you can see a real environment is there. From a real environment, we can able to produce an augmented reality, and you have a virtual environment, you can able to produce an augmented virtuality. So when you mix all these two things, you will get a mixed reality. So the augmented reality, it's actually you are augmenting something into the virtual world. In the case of an augmented reality, you are augmenting something into one real world. That is the main difference you should know. When you use these two technologies, you are augmenting some real world objects and the virtual world component, you will get a mixed reality. So how can you combine the real objects into one virtual world? This is the object you have in the real world, and this ball as another object you are trying to embed into the virtual world, so that you can see this as a final result. While you make this, you should be very careful that your model should give a good uh, accuracy, which means precision should be good, which means, so if you are making something, it should looks like a realistic view, else the person who is viewing cannot feel the reality content which is lie in the virtual world. So that should be the main motive. You should be very careful while designing the while you combine a real and the virtual world objects. When you are merging this reality, what are all the requirements you should have? As I told you earlier, you should be able to show that if suppose you are detecting something, the shadow should not be there, or occlusion should not be there, and collision detection, all these things you should be keep in mind. How the objects behaves, everything you have to keep in mind while you are merging into one reality object. Based on that, we have already discussed the different kinds of realities. Now coming to the elements of VR. As I told you, whenever you go to any virtual reality component, you require some devices, input and output devices. Without that devices, you cannot experience the reality component there. So it required some devices. Some example devices are given here. Just I'm showing devices only right now. I think I have showed you a headset like last class. Remaining devices are there, and also I have explained you what is the need for 360-degree rotation camera or 360-degree view. What is the need for that? I have explained it. And you required a smartphone for using this, and some other components are also used here. So we will be discussing different components which we are going to use, the fundamental components and the concepts of virtual reality. So as per the fundamental concept, we have discussed the fundamentals of a virtual reality, how the reality is mapped with the virtuality we have discussed. And now we are moving on to the components which is required for making this virtual reality. As it is well known that without the components we cannot use it. So you can see the diagram which is given here. As per the definition of VR, it says we are going to make some simulation. So what kind of simulations we are going to do? With the help of a computer, we are simulating some screens. So you require a computation. It requires graphics and also simulation. Probably if you noticed this diagram, you can able to see it requires a simulation and a graphics for performing the operation. Along with this, it requires some devices to use this. So the components required for this are, it requires input devices and some output devices along with computation. When it comes to computation, it is two different computations we are going to perform, one with respect to graphics and another one is simulating the objects whatever we are going to generate. There are different types of devices, hardware components we have. So they are basically classified into an input device and an output device. Mainly the output devices we are going to call here as an display devices or a visual displays. So these are all the main components, hardware components we are. For any virtual reality, you require a set of hardware components and a set of software to make your object render into the real world. So hardware components, two category, one is an input devices, other one is an output devices. Output devices you can call it as an display devices or visual displays. So the input devices that monitors the use of all these components along with the computer that supports the modeling and rendering of a virtual world. From the input devices, you are trying to generate some simulations and based on this, it is going to render into a real world. So in our second unit, we will be discussing about an 3D graphics, how to generate a 3D graphics, what is an projections and perspectives, everything we will be discussing in our second unit. And along with this, we are discussing on rendering also, how to model a 3D object and how to render into a real world. That is very important components. Once that component is clear, then you can able to generate any kind of 3D models and you can render into the real world. So when it comes to a computer engine or a graphics engine, when it is a computer engine, it is the responsibility for calculating the physical behavior of a virtual world. So we should be able to calculate the behavior of the physical world and then render the state of the world into an, either it can be an visual or it can be an audio or it can be an haptic or whatever it is, you can render into the corresponding state. What already we have discussed, there are some challenges which is resides in the reality components. Last class we have discussed about three different challenges. One is an device size and cost, and the second challenge is an latency, and the third challenge is on computation. So it should have a high computation power, and the delay should be low, which is latency should be low. The latency is a time delay between the time an event occurs and the time its results are apart. So the delay, latency should be very less. To solve this to solve the problem of latency and computation power, we can use a single large computer, or we can use multiple computers to perform this operations. When it comes to a graphics engine, so it requires an enough computation power to perform the virtual world physical simulation calculation, and it should be sufficient for an graphics to render it, and it can be rendered into one real-time world. So for these two things, simulations and a graphics, computer simulation and a graphics computation, it requires a powerful computation machine. Then only you can able to do this. That was the main motive. When it comes to, as I told you, rendering is one of the component of a computer graphics. So the image, I will be just talking about something related to the rendering, and then I will be moving on to one visual display. The image rendering, and also we have a sound rendering component. In the case of an image rendering, the representation of real world requires the ability to map the picture of an world onto the surface of an delivery. Wherever you are going to deliver, it is going to make use of an some real world component. It should able to map the picture of the real world onto the surface. The surface is, which means the device where we are going to view. In some components, or in some world, they only uses on static objects. In such cases, it is not required to make the computations. So when it is a moving object, dynamic object, then you should be very careful while generating the representations. So when it is when you are making a rendering with respect to one image, it should able to synchronize the display and update between the multiple display for rendering of both ISs. So it is able to render it repeatedly, so that it will be you can able to feel the reality components. If the synchronization between the display leads to discontinuity, then you cannot feel the appearance of a neighboring component. You have two different screens, they are simulated into one. So if there is a discontinuity or synchronization, then when you move your head here left or right, it should able to capture the corresponding component, and it has to not capture corresponding component should be displayed properly. Otherwise, you will not get the feel of how the reality component is there. It may missed out. And similarly, when it comes to an audio, you can render the audio also, render the sound also. When the signals can be sent to an external audio processor, it has the ability to come from a particular locations. So, for example, if you are so I just turn my. So you are wearing a headset, and if you are trying to move this side, you should able to hear the sound from this side. If you are moving this side, you have to able to hear the sound from this side. Then only you can feel the reality component. If you are moving this side, if you are hearing sound from some other side, so you cannot get the feel of how the reality it is going to look like. So when it comes to an screen also, if I am moving this direction, it should able to showcase the screen or the images which is there in this direction. So there should be a synchronization between the each and every frames. When I'm moving this direction, it should able to show the objects or the images or the screen which is present this direction. if there is no synchronization, suppose you are seeing this portion, suddenly if some other portion if it comes, then you will not have the feel of watching the reality environment. Similarly with respect to the sound also. And as we are talking about the computation, it requires a huge computations. So when it comes to an operating system component, because the computer is going to be used for simulations and generating a computer graphics components. So it requires an operating system. So the VR requires the ability to perform multiple operation at a time. So when you are wearing a headset, it should able to see both sound and the vision, everything is going to be synchronous, and you are going to see both the things as at same time. So it requires an multiple operations to be performed at the same time. So what kind of operating system is required for this? Your OS can able to perform what kind of operations? Can you answer for the question? So it is going to perform multiple operation at the same time.
Multiprocessing.
Yeah, multiprocessing is required there. So you have to your OS should capable of supporting threaded operations. All the operations are going to be executed in a same time. Now coming to the visual display. So this component we are talking about right now. Now coming to the visual display component, there are different types of visual displays are there. Stationary display, head mounted display, a desktop display, and hand based VR displays. These are all the different types of displays. So we are going to discuss each and every display devices with its advantage and the disadvantage. Each and every component has its own advantage and disadvantage. So visual display is an important in overall designing of any VR system. How it is going to be defined and how it is going to display the paradigm which is going to be used. So visual display paradigm, either it can use as a stationary display or head based display or hand based display. When it comes to one display, it has a different displays. Whether you have heard of stereoscopy display or monoscopy display, bioscopy display, or stereoscopic image.
Ma'am, is
Yes.
Stereoscopic is like it appears 3D.
It isn't toughest. 3D.
It appears 3D. The image
appears 3D. Yeah. So can you
Like
give
two pictures, but same
Uh,
place, two pictures
Hmm.
taken from two different angles. So when you
Yeah.
look at them together, it should appear kind of 3D. That's
Yes.
stereoscopic, yeah.
So how our eyes are working? Eye vision, our vision.
and we get two images and process depth.
You have two lenses, two eyes. You are capturing two different portions. You can close one of your eyes and you can see the object which is resides on that side, and you close the other eye and you see different objects. So but when you look through both the eyes, you can able to see the entire environment which is in front of you. Is that wrong?
Yes, ma'am.
So, actually, that when it comes to one computer related terminology, stereoscopic image. 2D images, as somebody said, it's a kind of 3D images only. The 2D images that when viewed by both eyes appear to exist in a 3D space. I am just making whatever you are, the answers, whatever you are giving, I am making it into one proper statement. Some of you said it's a 3D space image. Some of you have said when you are viewing in both the eyes, it exists in a 3D space. So the 2D images that when viewed by two eyes appear to be exist in a 2D, in a 3D space. So when it comes to an VR component, what we are going to do with the virtual reality attempt to mimic the sensation of an physical reality, and it is trying to display your object, whatever you are capturing in a stereoscopic display. So the stereoscopic display is preserved here. When it comes to one stationary display, first display type is an stationary display. So in the case of a stationary display, I have kept two different diagrams. Before talking about this diagram, I will be just explaining some more content which is related to this. So the stationary display, from the name it is well defined that it's a fixed position screen. It uses a fixed position screen to fill a relatively large portion of a field of view for one or more viewers. So I'm giving you a new terminology, field of view. I think next class I will be explaining about an field of view and field of regret, because now it's almost time over, but I will be completing this stationary device display. You can call the main examples for this is any wall display, tablet or desk displays, cave display. All this are an example for stationary display. The advantage is it has a large screen to cover view of, again field of view I am talking about, FOV. So you can see this person who's standing, a screen is there, so he can see the content which is present in this. So now coming to the field of view, it is an observable area a person can see through the eye or via any optic devices. So if this person is standing, what are all the objects he can able to see? He can able to cover this portions. I'm right. If suppose you are standing somewhere and you wanted to see something, and whatever your eye can capture, you can able to capture all the regions. So in this kind of stationary devices, it uses a cube shaped boxes, so that you will view only whatever the component which is going to be there. So the field of view is observable area a person can see through the eye or via some optic devices. It covers the areas rather than focusing into a single point. It covers the entire area, whatever the object which is there in the entire area, it covers it. So the main advantage is it uses a large screen to cover the field of view. What is the disadvantage of this kind of display devices, stationary display devices? So it is costly. You need to make the setup like this. So it is going to be a costly, and also it depends on when you make a setup also, even though it is giving a full, you are trying to make a field of view. It depends on the degree. So I'm talking about degree and all. Once I talk field of view, it will be clear to you what is the degree. So it depends on the degree to which the user is surrounded, and where it may sometimes require some multiple projector also. Again, if you use a multiple projector, it again increases the cost. So cost is a main disadvantage of this stationary display. And also you require a special space for holding or setting this kind of display devices. So that will be again another again it includes a cost. So again it is a problem. So this are all the main problems which is related to one stationary display. The name stationary is given here. It is fixed. The screen is fixed. The person can stand here and he can view all the objects which is there in the projected onto the display. So next, so I have a video for this. I will be talking about field of view and field of regards next class with a simple video. Next comes another kind of devices which is it's a kind of desktop VR. So in the case of an I think desktop VR, it's a kind of again a stationary display. So you can see in a desktop itself, you can view the 3D reality objects. It is similar to one large screen display. In the standard computer monitor itself, you can see the stereographical display. It combines a monitor with the necessary tracking and other input devices and VR softwares to make it render into a real world environment. This kind of display VRs are also called as an fish tank VRs. Because why it is called as an fish tank VR? When you go to an aquarium, so you can able to see fishes, different kinds of fishes which is there in the aquarium. When you are standing in one side, you can able to see the view, one view. When you are viewing from other direction, you can see the other views. So similarly, with the help of this monitor, you can view it. That's why it's called as an fish tank VR, or also called as this. The viewer moves their head right or left to view different perspective of the object in the real. It's not in the real, in the virtual world. Sorry, not in the real world, in the virtual world. The viewer moves their head left or right to view different perspective of the object which are in the virtual world. The advantage of this kind of devices is cost is less when compared to the previous setup. But for previous setup, you require a separate setup and you have to use it. It's very costly. So it is cost is very less in this case, in the case of an desktop kind of VRs. But when it comes to a disadvantage, it has a limited field of view and field of regards. It is only able to view the object which is present in front of the system. We cannot have a 360 view and all. Just whatever you have in front of your system only you can view it. So that is the main disadvantage of this. And as I told you, it also requires, it combines the output of the display by using some hardware component, and it is tracks, and finally it is going to render your object. So it requires some more component. For upgrading to stereoscopic image, it requires some more cost, and also it requires some special kind of input devices, hardware devices, and also a software devices to track the movement of the user. It is costly, but when compared to the previous case, which is large scale display, it is cheaper. Next class we will be discussing about the head mounted displays, head based display, and we have different kinds. We will be discussing that in the next class. So this class we have discussed what is an VR, introduction to VR, how the reality is combined with reality, virtuality is combined with reality, that we have discussed. So for that, what are all the components are required? We have discussed components, visual display components related to VR systems. Still some more display devices need to be discussed in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank